Hey guys, welcome to the Dude Sports Show. I'm your host, Eric Stewart. Today we're talking about Ezekiel Elliott and Josh Brown getting suspended by Rodger Goodell and the NFL, and the inconsistency of Rodger Goodell's punishments. Now, for a lot of you, you probably know about the Ezekiel Elliott suspension and for domestic abuse, but just the last week, early last week, they handed out a suspension to Josh Brown. Well, Josh Brown last year had a 1-game suspension for his participation in domestic abuse. In my opinion, I think it should have been done and over with. It was last year, and around the same time as this Ezekiel Elliott thing, they came out and handed him a new 6-game suspension. I think that it was Rodger Goodell and the NFL trying to avoid a PR mess, saying, well, we can't give Ezekiel Elliott 6 games and only give Josh Brown 1 because people are going to say, talk about that. I think that they messed up. And I think that they messed up with Ezekiel Elliott's case too. But with this Josh Brown thing, giving him another 6-game suspension, I mean, that's... you already been punished and then you get punished again. I don't think that that's fair. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that domestic abuse is right by any means. I think that if you get in trouble for it and there's evidence against you and you go through the process by the courts and you get found guilty, or you go through the process with the NFL and you get found guilty, you should get punished. I just don't think that it's right to get punished and then repunished again later on down the road, which has kind of confused me because I think, in my opinion, why can't Rodger Goodell have a more set in stone discipline for these players? A more, something written down in the handbook that says if you violate our personal conduct policy with domestic abuse, you get suspended for 2 games if the cops are called. You don't have to go to court, but you broke our personal conduct policy, so you get a 2-game suspension because the cops are called. You should have removed yourself from that situation before the cops were ever called. And then if there's court proceedings and somebody's found guilty, not guilty, then you give them a bigger suspension. Now, if there's actual abuse, like the Ray Rice thing where there was a video of him actually knocking out the girl, his wife, then he's suspended for a year and released from that team that he's with. Something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably not the one that should be handing out the discipline, but I just think like something set in stone. That way nobody can argue with it. That's our policy. That's what we go with. There's none of this back and forth, filing injunctions. I mean, he's creating a bigger mess by trying to figure this out. And I'm like, why can't you put it in writing that if this is what you do, this is what happens? It makes no sense to me. I think Rodger Goodell is he's horrible at people management. I think that he manages the NFL really good. He's blowing up the value of the NFL to ridiculous number. He's done really good in a lot of those instances, but whenever it comes to people management and what he should do with the players, he has no idea of what he is doing. And I think that it's really ruining the NFL. It's making fans disgusted of all the crap that he's doing on the side. And going through and doing these injunctions where players, file their injunction and say, basically they're not suspended for this year, but then they're suspended for next year. And with the Tom Brady thing that happened, it felt like it was too long. It was too long of a battle. And at that point, it wasn't even a battle of wrong or right doing by the NFL player. It was, I want to get my way. I need to get my way. And I'm going to see it all the way through. And I'm talking about Rodger Goodell. He wanted to see him get his way all the way through. And that's fine. That's fine. to a point. At what point does it get to be too much? I'm just an NFL fan that loves to watch football. And whenever there's this going to court and the back and forth in the courtrooms and everything, I feel like it kind of takes away from the fun of the sport. And I think if there was a set in stone policy, that there would be no room for injunctions. I know that there's always somebody that's going to do something that nobody ever could have imagined and doesn't. You almost have to write a new policy just because somebody did that. I mean, companies do it all the time. Somebody messes up big, they try to avoid getting sued, so they write a new policy. And they write a policy to where nobody else could ever do that same mistake again, which always kind of cracked me up because sometimes there's things that people do that is so outrageous that I don't think another person would ever do it again, but they still make a policy because one person messed it up. So I just think that Rodger Goodell needs to get it figured out. I mean, they have a full office of people that are smart, supposedly, and can make rules, can figure it out, put their heads together and figure it out, but they haven't yet. Ever since the Ray Rice thing, it's really messed up everything that they do. Anyway, guys, I guess I'm running out of things to talk about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching the Dude Sports Show. I appreciate it. Please give me support. Consider subscribing right here. And also, to see my last video, click the link right here. Thank you, guys.